Good evening. It is, I can't think of a greater honor than to be asked by one of your former athletes to be a part of this kind of an evening. I knew Dre well before she knew who I was. I was coaching prior to coming to JU at a university in Baltimore, and I was out doing some recruiting and at some track meets, and I noticed this girl running around with bleach blonde hair. And maybe that was a way for her to get herself noticed, but really it was her performances that had all of the college coaches noticing her. And I knew when I got to Jacksonville, this was one of the young ladies that I needed to try to recruit. And so I had to go about finding a way to get her phone number, start making some phone calls, go up and visit her up in Maryland, watch her race, and eventually bring her down here to check out our university. In some walks of life that might be called stalking, but in college athletics it's called recruiting. And I won't forget, I really have some fond memories of this specific official visit. Dre came with her mom, and I think her mom had more fun than she did. Her mom stayed at the Ramada that used to be on the corner of Mountain Expressway and University. And I remember picking her up on the second day, and I think the mom was more tired than Dre was. It was Latin night the evening before. Her mom was up all night dancing. And we went to the beach. You know, when you're selling Jacksonville University, you want to be able to sell the beach community, especially when you're coming from PG County in Maryland. And we're walking on the beach with Dre's mom, and I just noticed her legs in these shorts, just these incredible muscular legs, and these jean shorts that were so tight around her quads. And talking to the mom, and she has a really tough time finding clothes that fit because her legs are so muscular. And so I knew we had a pretty good talent. When you think about the greatest athletes in the world's greatest athletes are given that term for the best decathletes and the best heptathletes in the world. And when Dre came here, she really did start to rewrite the record books and became one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. And there are 20 events in a track and field meet. And in 2001, in the conference championship, Andrea Pressley scored in 7 of the 20 events, more than 1/3 of the events. So in some forms of life, that might be called child abuse. But in college athletics, it's called winning championships. So whatever event there was, whether it was the throwing events, the sprinting events, the hurling events, the jumping events, we know we could always call on Dre to give us her best performances. If she were a baseball player, she'd be called a 5-tool player. If she was a basketball player, she'd be like Magic Johnson, who could run the point, but also play the post. And she did it not only at the conference level, but also at the national level. And I won't soon forget the 2004 National Championships. We were at Austin, Texas. And Dre was in a field of about 27 athletes. And her rank coming in was somewhere 18th or 19th or so. It was her 3rd consecutive invitation to the NCAA Championships, which in and of itself was phenomenal. And we got to Austin, and the first event of the heptathlon is the 100-meter hurdles. And it went off about 11 o'clock in the morning. And just as the hurdles were about to go off, it started to sprinkle a little bit. But that didn't stop Dre. She goes out and has her lifetime best in the hurdles. So we have a good day started. And then the skies open up and it starts to rain. We have 30 minutes to move from one event to the other. So we go over to the high jump. And we're putting out our high jump marks. And the one event that Dre wasn't all that good at was the high jump. So I'm watching all these other great athletes get ready to the high jump, and the meet gets suspended. It doesn't get suspended for an hour. It gets suspended for 7 hours. 7 hours we're in a parking garage across from the stadium at University of Texas with our massage therapist in a corner trying to shuffle out and get a little bit of food, waiting for updates. The entire meet was rearranged. Most of the events were canceled for Thursday, but the heptathlon had to go on, so it was 7, 8 o'clock in the evening or so when they trot the high jumpers back out. And many of the other high jumpers had really bad competitions because of that delay. But Dre was right on her game, didn't have her best jump, but it was close enough to being her best jump that it kept her in the competition. Then we went over to the shot put, where she was one of the best throwers in the competition. She ended up winning the shot put, one of the top 5 all-time shot put marks for a heptathlete in the NCAA Championships, and moves to the front of the standings. And the last event of the evening is the 200-meter dash. Well, it's midnight in Austin, Texas, 1 o'clock in the morning our time, and Andrea Pressley runs her lifetime best. And we go home that evening, and we go to the hotel that evening with her standing in 3rd place, which is a remarkable accomplishment. And she keeps telling me how hungry she is. So we're looking around, what's open at this time of the evening? Well, next to the hotel is an IHOP. So we all shuffle off to the IHOP, and we have our orders, and look over in the corner of the booth, and there's Dre asleep. She was more tired than she was hungry. But we get up the next day, and first event is the long jump. She has her lifetime best. Next event is the javelin. She has her lifetime best. And here she stands going into the last event of the day, very high up in the standings. Lots of coaches running around trying to figure out who's this athlete from Jacksonville University. And ends up finishing 4th at the NCAA championships. And 2 of the young ladies that finished ahead of her that day have represented our country in the Olympics, to let you know the kind of athletes that she was able to compete against. But through all that adversity, here's a young lady who in 7 events has 5 personal bests, sets a lifetime best, and becomes an All-American in her 3rd attempt at the NCAA championships. Just a really special athlete. But more than just an athlete. I'm reminded often when I have education student athletes come on campus for a visit. Just this fall, we had a young lady visiting from the Panhandle, and part of our recruiting visit is to meet with the academic advisors and some professors in the major. And so we sat down with Dr. Davis, who very calmly said to me, pulled me aside and said, you know, did you coach Andrea Pressley? I said, yeah, sure. Recruited her, brought her here. The most natural teacher I've ever had a chance to witness. And Andrea continues to affect not only the Jacksonville community, but the Arlington area, because she still teaches right across the street at Justina Elementary. Just a wonderful human being. I'm glad that she asked me to be here tonight. It's an honor to introduce to you Andrea Pressley.